Be like that, man. Always. One of our coaches said on the headset, "Welcome to the Army-Navy game." He's right. It's always like that. We had a 14-point lead, and 1 second to go, they're standing there knocking on the door with a chance to tie the game up. Unreal. But proud of our team. What a great win. Both teams just fought like crazy. This was great about the game. Their players played hard, played their hearts out. Ours did too. And fortunately, we came up with a play there at the end and got away with the victory. So the turnovers were big, obviously, in that drive in the first half, the interception, and then the strip sack for a touchdown. Both big plays, but really proud of our team. Really happy to be able to bring the Commander-in-Chief's trophy back home, which is that's a source of pride for our program and for our entire academy to be able to claim that trophy. So proud of our guys. We started out pretty rough at the beginning of the season, and our guys have just continued to battle and won 4 in a row here at the end of the season, including the 2 that we needed to win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. So glad to be taking it back home.
Go ahead, Ken.
Coach, maybe just take us through the last sequence. 1st and 10 at the 6 for Navy. Caleb Fortner gets a big play on 3rd down, and then the 4th and 2 play, you get the stop. Leo Lowen and a couple other players. Just take us through that. And how do you communicate with Coach Woody, at a critical moment like that?
Well, Coach Woody probably didn't like the way I was communicating with him during that drive there as they were running the ball down, or throwing the ball down the field. They brought Lavatai in. I mean, really, it changed kind of their approach, and we knew that it would be different with those 2 quarterbacks. And he did a nice job. He did a nice job directing them down the field and making some throws, and so they had no timeouts left. So we fortunately got them to burn a timeout on the substitution earlier in the half. So they were down to 2, and they used those 2 when we had the ball to stop the clock, as they needed to. So they were out of timeouts, and they had to throw it. They really couldn't run the football. So didn't seem to help us much, Ken. They kept throwing the ball and completing it, but when they got it down there in 4th down, and I assumed that they were going to run the football, and I think there was I think the ball kind of got away, and they stopped the clock there. It kind of rolled back, and I'm like, man, just what are the chances of that happening? So they kind of got a chance to settle themselves and get set, and our guys just made a great play. We were playing for that play, and our guys made a great play to stop at the 2-inch line or whatever it was.
Coach, just ask about, you went to stayed with the shotgun offense today. Bryson said that you felt Navy was well prepared to stop the under center plays. Just take us through the decision on staying with the shotgun offense today.
Well, I think if we look at the history of this game, and so we've been under center for a long time, and as a coach, as an assistant under Paul Johnson, as a head coach, I mean, I've been under center option since 1997, so you do the math on that. I'm a PE major from Milliken, so it would take me a minute to do the math, but we've been doing it a long time. Prior to this season, I had coached in 18 academy games as the coach at Army. The most that we had ever scored was 21 points. We did it twice. We've scored 7, 10, 3, 14, 13, 17 in regulation. Last year we scored 3 in regulation on offense. We blocked a punt. It was 10 to 10 at the end of the regulation, but we just haven't been able to score points. And so it is, we weren't able to score many points today either, but they are really good at stopping the under center stuff. If you watch them, the way they defended us, and Coach Newberry does a great job, he's a terrific defensive coordinator. You watch the Air Force game from earlier this year, both of those teams are just ramming their head against the wall. They can't move it. Air Force is really good at stopping the under center stuff. Navy's really good at stopping the under center stuff. Because we all do it, and we all have our ways to execute that under center offense, and ways that we defend it. And I think all 3 defensive coaches do a good job. I mean, Nate Woody does a really good job. And so I got tired of ramming our head against the wall. Just 3 plays and it's 4th and 7 and you punt. And so just trying to find a different way to skin the same cat. And so we hit some good plays today. We punted far too much. We had some penalties that cost us. There was some confusion out there with our guys that, we're making verbal calls and they're making verbal calls and we clap, and if they clap, it sounds like we're clapping, so we had a couple of penalties that one we were in 1st and 20 on the last drive. And so we really just felt like going to this offense, particularly for these games, was going to help us. And I don't know if it's the answer. We scored 10 points on offense today, but I didn't feel frustrated like we were ramming our head against the wall all day long. We didn't sustain drives, and we had a couple of plays in the passing game that if we hit, maybe it's a different deal. So anyway, I'm glad we got Bryson Daly. That guy's like a running back. You give him a chance to run the football. He runs through some people and gains positive yards, and he's a tough kid.
Joe, you want to go?
Yeah. Hey, Coach Monken, you mentioned, the last drive there where you guys got it to 1st and 20. You almost did get it to 4th and you got it to 4th and 3, which was a great comeback there.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts of going for it there, or were you just okay?
Yeah, there was a thought to go. The analytics, it was a go at 4th and 3, and it was just a shade, maybe a little more than 3, and I thought at that point that we could stop them. We could keep them from going down the field on us, and we had them in 4th and 10, and they get that pass play. So I thought a punt, we could bury them down there. They have a long way to go and make it difficult on them. But I'll talk to our analytics guys tomorrow, and they'll be like, "That's why we say, that's why it is 4th and 3. Go for it, because if you don't make it, they get the ball short field. If they do score, you got more time to mount us. There's all kinds of math. Like I said, I'm a PE major. I just read the book. But we thought about going for it.
Right back here.
Coach, Michael Farrar with Bird Sports Network. Defense came up today and made some big plays. Can you talk about what you're most proud of your defense today?
They did. They just they did a really good job of stopping the run. Credit to Navy. They did a good job hitting some passes. We were playing a little soft on the perimeter, trying to keep the ball in front of us. We felt like if we kept the ball in front of us, that we were going to be able to win the football game, not get something thrown over our head. When they brought Lavatai in, they seemed to be more effective running the football with him, running the zone follow and those kinds of things. But I'm proud of our defense for the way they defended the run, because I think that's where it's got to start. Especially in these games, if you can be effective stopping the run, you're going to give yourself a great chance to win the football game. So they came up with some big plays. Obviously, the turnovers were huge. Those were the difference in the game. The interception that stopped the drive, and the strip sack. Those are big plays.
Down here.
Coach Ken Powtek from the Associated Press. Two-part question in this real quick. You talk about the illustrious history of this rivalry. Can that one play, that goal line stop, that 4th down stop, just live forever in the history of Army football? And what were you thinking on that play?
124 times this game has been played. I don't know if it'll live on forever. People got short memories. The 2020 game, when we played it at Mikey Stadium, they had a 1st and goal at the 2 or the 1 yard line or something. We had 4 plays in a row. We stopped them. I don't know if it'll live forever. It lives in my mind. It was a big stop. This one will be this big stop for all of us. All the competitors will remember it. But there've been so many big plays in this game, and there's been so many big moments in this game. Hopefully they'll play this one another 124 years or more. I hope they do. And there'll be other big moments. But this was a big one today, and it'll certainly go down in the memories of both teams, I'm sure.
Right here.
Congratulations Two questions. The first question, that final drive there for Navy, it seemed a little frantic just with the flow of the game. How much credit do you have the leadership of your defense with no stopping the clock to make the play to win the game? And for Caleb, you have two kind of moments like he had the tackle on third down along with the touchdown.
You know, our guys I think are gritty and tough, but they got guys like that too. And it was just a battle of the wills right there. And what a great source of pride for our players to have a stop like that at the end of the game to win the Army-Navy game. There's no bigger game for us than this game. We don't apologize for it. We don't take the signs down around campus or in our buildings, say beat Navy all the other days of the year, and then put them back up when we're getting ready for the Army-Navy game. We prepare for this game every day, and our guys live it. There's 1,000 places on our campus, not dozens, 1,000 places where you say beat, it says beat Navy. And so to win this game, to find a way, is awesome. And it really is, it's on the backs of our defense. Our defense won the football game for us today. And Caleb, I'm so happy for him, but that whole unit, I thought they did a really good job. And getting that stop down there, it took more than one guy. There were a bunch of guys in there that were putting their bodies on the line and getting underneath pads. And so what a thrilling win. And I didn't answer your question about what I was thinking. I was thinking if they score, how are we going to stop a 2-point conversion? And if we don't stop the 2-point conversion, what's overtime going to look like? What immediately? What do we need to be thinking in overtime? And so, I mean, it just you're not sitting there going, oh, I hope. You just, your mind starts racing. Like, okay, what's the next scenario? What do we got to start thinking about?
The other question that I had, the landscape in college football is changing radically. The best you can, how can you summarize what this game means and rooted in the tradition of this sport and what it means for especially your seniors to leave on the right side of the rivalry?
Well, it is changing, and I think some of the changes are really good for college sports and for college football. One thing about this game that's different than anybody else playing a college football game is there aren't any transfers out there. There's not one. No transfers. Nobody that's playing on their team, nobody that's playing on our team played at another college before they came here. Our guys grow up in our program. They come in as freshmen. We develop them. They grow up through the program. They play together as sophomores, juniors, and take the field for the last time tonight as seniors. And it's pretty special. Special to have a group of guys like that. They can stand there and look each other eyeball to eyeball and remember the day they reported for cadet basic training after their senior year in high school and all they've been through, and to be able to celebrate a victory and embrace each other, and it's awesome. And this is this game will always be like that. There will never be, no matter how the rules change, there will never be, half our team started college somewhere else. Because if somebody transfers to West Point, which they can, they have to start over as a freshman. So whether you've taken 1 year classes or you're a junior and you look around your own locker room and you say, you know what, I can't beat him out. He's the same age as me and I can't beat him out and he's a year younger. I'm going to transfer to another college. I'm going to go to West Point. Okay, congratulations on the first 2 years of your college career. None of your classes count. Start over as a freshman. Nobody's buying that. So we will always have guys come in, get developed in our program, and grow up in the program. And I think there's a purity to that. It's what college athletics was at one time, and probably never will be again. But it will be at our places.
Right here.
Coach Monken, I think the last time I saw you in person was at the big New England clinic down in Newport. Now,
Man,
I'm dating myself.
That's a while ago.
I just wanted to go back to the move to shotgun, because I know you come from that Paul Johnson tree, and And, you know, obviously you guys put a lot of time into making that move this offseason. Just talk briefly about how did the transition go from being a flex bone triple under center team to going to the gun? How was that transition for you guys, both during the offseason and in season?
Well, you look at the results this year, and they weren't at all what we wanted them to be. I think there's with the rule changes with blocking below the waist, that came in right before the 2022 season. So in the spring, just before we entered spring practice in 2022, that rule came out, and I just said, well, they finally got us. And Paul Johnson said for years, they're going to get us. If somebody from an option team doesn't get on that rules committee, they're going to get you. And they did. And it changed us in the 2022 season. Just the way that we could execute our offense, the way that we ran it without the cut block was a little challenging. So I felt like we could keep the same personality, the same temperament and philosophy, getting in the gun and being a gun option team. And what I found is what I probably always thought and maybe in my mind wanted to deny, is that it still makes us a lot closer to everybody else. And so when people defend us, there isn't necessarily that element of preparation. When people played us, it was like playing a different sport. Literally, it was like a defense had to play a different sport on that day. And you got 5 techniques that are, rushing the passer and squeezing a tackle in a zone play and fighting a reach block. And now they're having to look at a quarterback and a running back, and he's got a ball in the fullback's belly, and okay, in this call, am I supposed to take the fullback? Am I supposed to take the quarterback? Am I supposed to run an upstart? And inevitably, it was difficult, and especially when a team had a week's time. But the cut block and the elimination of that, and it's not like we got great big guys that we can send a 220-pound running back out there and block a 220-pound linebacker, or a 200-pound slot, and he goes and blocks a 200-pound safety. We got some physical mismatches that we were facing, and so that's kind of why we went away from it. But what I found is that there's probably a need to have some of that still, some of those elements in our offense. And so Navy's they're doing both, and I think they realize the same thing. There's some difficulties in preparing for that under center option, but there's certainly some justification for getting in the gun and being able to be more multiple. So that's a long-winded answer, but there's been some growing pains this year, and I wish we had found a way to score more points, and we didn't. And we lost some games this year to some teams that we boat raced them out of the stadium a year ago under center option. And we're in a gun and we can't score. So obviously there's some things we gotta look at when we go in the off season.
Let's do 2 more. Go ahead.
And Coach, obviously been a part of this game for a long time. What is this experience and the atmosphere here at Gillette? How did that kind of live up to the hype, maybe, or how much did you like playing here?
It's fantastic. The folks here, the Patriots organization, and just how welcoming they were. We came to the luncheon last Wednesday. They were fantastic. It's a beautiful stadium. Incredible American history here in this part of the country. It's the birthplace of our revolution, so to bring this game here is pretty special. But frankly, we could have played it out in the parking lot with nobody out there, and I promise you the 2 teams would have fought their asses off to win the game. Pardon my French. But that's just the way these games are. We could have met halfway up the interstate and just said, let's get it on right here. And that's what this game is. It's going to be a bloodbath street fight every time it's played. Look at the game tonight. And so doesn't matter where we play it. It's a great game. But this was really neat to be here. The great history of this organization and all the great victories, Super Bowl teams that have played in this stadium. It's awesome. And it's a great experience for our players. You know, here's a bunch of guys that, no knock on our guys, but I don't have any 5-star prospects that turned down USC and Ohio State to come to West Point. These guys they're like everybody else. First time they put the pads on when they were a little kid, they dreamed of playing in a venue like this, an atmosphere like this. So what an incredible experience for them to play in an NFL stadium, and those are lifetime memories they'll have, which I'm glad for them. So this is a great place, and the people here have been fantastic.
Sal, close us down.
Coach, you a lot of talk about who you play for, the ones that serve. I saw Josh Lingenfelter had Dwyer along his right arm today. I'm guessing that's for Stephen Dwyer. And can you just talk about that and the meaning of that, and kind of sums up what this game's all about?
Stephen Dwyer's a family friend of Josh, and so I know he wanted to honor him. And it just gives us incredible pride to play for the United States Army. And it's not just in this game. Every game, we wear the colors of the United States Army. And so today, we had the great fortune to honor the 3rd ID, the dog-faced soldiers of the 3rd Infantry Division, and the history of that division, certainly the uniforms and the color representing the Thunder Runs when our Army went into Iraq. But the Rock of the Marne and the history of that unit from World War I, and it's kind of fitting right there at the 1-yard line. I can't pronounce the French words, but the commanding general of the 3rd ID during World War I, we were way outnumbered by the Germans, and there was some thought by one of the other countries' armies to say, hey, let's retreat here, let's back off, and he basically said in French to the guy, here we shall remain, and they held their ground and fought back the Germans, and thus earned their place in history and became the Rock of the Marne. And so to wear that uniform with those slogans and what they represent is truly an honor. But I hope that our guys, the way they play every week, tonight and every time we take the field, that they represent those men and women that serve. There's over 1 million men and women who serve on active duty in the United States Army, and they can't play in this game. But all of our guys are a representation of them. The toughness, the grittiness, the competitive spirit, the fight. All of us sitting in this room, we expect that of our Army. When our Army gets sent to do a job, what do we expect? We expect them to go win. We expect them to come back victorious, to go beat the bad guys. And so we're a representation of those men and women, and so it's a tremendous source of pride for us to wear Army on our uniforms. No matter what colors we're wearing the colors of the Army.
Thanks, everybody.
Be Navy.
Okay.
Thank you, Coach.